For only the third time in 14 weeks this NFL season, the favorites are actually going to have the upper hand in Las Vegas as the Chalks, heading into your Monday night doubleheader, are 8-5-1 against the spread. But still, the underdogs are 15 games over 500 for the season. Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here, and this is going to be your Monday video report. As you know, my free football selections over the past 5.5 weeks on a 25-12 run, including cashing with 4 of my last 5 Monday night freebies. Free selection coming up in just a moment on Baltimore and Houston, a complete breakdown of that game, and also going to talk about your New York Giants Minnesota makeup game. A couple of quick notes for you. Want to talk quickly about last night's Dallas-Philadelphia game. Now, that is one of those games, as general manager of these sites, it always causes a problem when you have to grade a game. A lot of you guys out there, and some handicappers actually think before they join this site, that the games are graded on the closing price. Well, that is just a fallacy. Nobody is waiting to the last minute, especially if you're on the favorite, to bet a game. That Dallas-Philadelphia game is interesting. You know, most of your major sports books yesterday, that price was a solid 3.5 until about 11:30 Eastern time in the morning. Some places it moved up to 4 then at around 2:30 in the afternoon. Now, as the day progressed, that line even powered up further, some places to 4.5, some to 5. So, a lot of guys here at the site, specifically Andy Finelli, for example, Steve the Big Dog Doomey, they both had released Philadelphia, and they said to go ahead and buy down the half point. Now, when they released the play, it was Philadelphia 3.5. The Eagles won by 3. But of course, there's no way with 100% certainty that I can be here and say, even though I know 90% of you come to the sites, buy and access your plays before 11 o'clock Eastern time on a Sunday morning, and I know that for a fact, and that's always been the case here at this site. So, in theory, I think the majority of you walked away with a push. However, as you'll see, with both Andy and the Big Dog, they both took losses on the game, which I think is perhaps maybe the fair thing to do. It may be controversial, but the fact is this. If you walked away with a push, hey, you walked away with a push. And you see they took the loss, and again, grading games is the most difficult part of this job. Let's get to your breakdown tonight. Last night, my best bet was a 15-dime play on the Dallas-Philadelphia game to go over the posted price, and that scored 15-dime releases, guys. Now 31-17-2 in the NFL over the past 3 years combined. Those same 15-dime plays in the NBA and college basketball the past 2 years, 14 out of 17 in the bank. Tonight, I've got another 15-dime winner, guys. It's on your makeup game at 7:20 Eastern time between the Giants and the Vikings at Ford Field. The Giants, obviously, in quadruple revenge in this contest. You know, Eli Manning has never beaten the Vikings, and the Vikings have really dominated Manning. 9 interceptions versus just 2 touchdown passes in those 4 losses. And who was the architect of the Minnesota defense in those wins? Their current interim head coach, Leslie Frazier, who's off to a 2-0 straight-up and ATS start since taking over for the fired Brad Childress. Guys, this is going to be my best bet on the board tonight. As you know, 99% of my plays are rated between 5 and 15 dimes. Don't miss it. 15-dime NFC Game of the Year winner for Monday night. Cashed in with the Patriots easily last Monday night. That is my lone selection for this Monday night card. Now, your regularly scheduled Monday night contest is Baltimore and Houston. Currently, the Ravens are a 3-point favorite in this game with the total right around 46 points. You know, Baltimore, of course, looking to rebound from that disappointing loss at home last Sunday in which the Ravens coughed up a late lead in the final 2 minutes and lost to the Steelers. So they have the extra day of prep time to recuperate mentally, physically, emotionally, but of course they also find themselves on the road against a Houston team that has had 4 extra days to prep for this game as the Texans once again in their 4th consecutive loss coughed up a 4th quarter lead and losing at Philadelphia 2 Thursdays ago. You know, the Ravens just don't perform well on the Monday night road. 3-7 straight up lifetime. In fact, they haven't performed versus the odds makers on the road either as well. 4-7 against the spread, their last 11 outside of Baltimore. As for the Houston Texans, well, they're 1-5 straight up in their last 6 games, and their only victory was a 20-0 shutout of an injury-riddled Tennessee team playing a third-string quarterback in Rusty Smith a few weeks ago. Defensively, Well, what are we talking about? Houston has no defense. They come into this game ranked 31st in the league, giving up an average of 388 yards a game, 26.8 yards, or 26.8 points a game. Now, their rush defense is actually, on paper, pretty damn good. Ranked 10th in the league, giving up 101 yards a game. Problem is, their pass defense sucks. They're ranked 31st in the league. Guys, there's only 32 teams here, right? 66.5% completions, and their secondary has been scorched for 27 touchdowns, 10 interceptions on the year, largely in part because they're getting no pass rush, only 19 sacks in 12 games, so those guys are playing out there on an island upon themselves. Now, Baltimore has struggled offensively. Only 27 points in its last two games against Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh, only 135 yards rushing in those two games. You know, in the prior 6 games, the Ravens had averaged 28.7 points a game. In the 7 previous games prior to losing to the Steelers last week, Joe Flacco had been on a roll, 66.2% completions, over 1,800 yards passing, and 14 touchdowns. Baltimore, of course, definitely the better defensive team here. You know it, I know it. Their pass defense ranked 12th in the league. Only 3 more sacks than the Texans have through 12 games, but no doubt the Ravens certainly put pressure on the quarterback as opposed to the Texans, who usually give him a free pass. And the Ravens have only given up an average of 16.8 points a game this season. Rush D, very strong, number 6 in the league, giving up just 97.8 yards a game, and that's going to be critical tonight against Foster. I say you go ahead and you play Baltimore, you lay the 3 points, you buy down the half point. I believe in always buying down or up, depending on whether you're on a favorite or a dog when the line crosses 3, 4, 7, or 10. In terms of the total, well, you know, Houston's gone over in 5 of its last 7 games. They've given up at least 24 points in every single game this season, with the exception of the Tennessee game I talked about earlier. Yet, I'm still not a big fan of the total. I think it goes over tonight. And listen, the over has been trending in the NFL, 100 overs versus 72 unders over the past 12 weeks, but I'd rather just go with the free pick on Baltimore, buying down the half point. Ravens, your freebie, and again, 15-time best bet on the board, 31-17 with these plays, past 3 years combined. It's on your Giants-Vikings games. That's what I've got going tonight. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Tuesday.